Oi, can I borrow a rubber? I will protect you from my bad imitation of the Australian accent. So you will need to pretend that you are in a meeting room, crowded around a large square table at your first meeting in Adelaide. You are an American female, and you have only been here for a couple of weeks, and the good-looking man next to you has just asked you for a rubber. So let's break this down. In America, when you ask for a rubber, you will be blushed at and handed one of these. I had no idea that when asked for rubber in Australia, you all would be expecting me to let you borrow one of these. This is new vocabulary that had not come up in previous conversations, so I had no idea what was happening. But later, I had a great laugh about it. But what happened here? Why do Americans and Australians speak the same language, yet we have misunderstandings like these? Scallon, and Jones state in their book, Intercultural Communication, A Discourse Approach, the language is ambiguous, and we must draw meaning by inference. They go further to say that even in cultures where the language is the same, once materials like books and phrases are strewn around the world, each culture will adapt and use these words differently to meet their individual needs and understanding. So what do these two meanings for rubber have in common? Both items we are referring to resemble latex rubber by either being made from latex or having properties of said material. So what is different about these two meanings? A latex condom, referred to as a rubber in America, is not something you would expect to be brought up in a business meeting, unless you work for Durex. As this is the meaning my culture uses for the meaning of rubber, I couldn't even think of what my new friend meant. As Scallon, and Jones explain, when we are communicating with others, we always jump to conclusions as to what the other party means. Darren, however, is an Australian man that had no clue of what the meaning I have for rubber is because he's never been to America and never needed an eraser from an American before. Darren's idea of a rubber is a rubber-like item that is used to rub away mistakes made in pencil or ink. The look of confusion and discomfort on my face let him know that his entirely innocent request was not one I understood. Getting past the discomfort of the miscommunication like this was made because Darren was sure I didn't understand a word, but didn't know which of these words I misunderstood. So he made a pantomime of receiving an eraser and then erasing. This instance of miscommunication is funny later on. Nothing was destroyed. No people were harmed in the quest for the eraser, but mistakes like this can cause larger communication issues that affect the participants of those conversations. Scallon Jones remarked that today people are required to engage in communication with others from a far more diverse range of cultures, and as a result, it is hard to draw inference based on shared knowledge or backgrounds. As another example, the first time I can truly remember being mad at my now husband, who is Australian, was when he started using the phrase, too easy, often. Nick, I need help getting our fidgety toddler dressed for childcare. Too easy. I was taken aback. This task was not a task I would deem too easy. Anyone who has ever dressed a toddler that did not want to wear clothes understand this is a very hard endeavor. I had to stop myself from getting angry because he did go dress our child. We need to get my visa copied so I can study. Too easy. Again, I had a hard time navigating the site that held that information. It was not too easy, but it was done. Nick, we need to call the migration agent because they need another form for us that is signed by all these people. Too easy. I exploded, taking giant chunks out of my week to go find all these people to sign this one document was not too easy. Nick then calmed me down enough to explain that too easy is in fact much like saying, okay, I can do that. But because we had different shared knowledge, experience, media, influences, or meanings to this phrase, the phrase caused an argument. These examples are funny. They're small enough that they aren't a cause for concern, but they do highlight how everyday interactions can cause difficulties. Despite our contrasting cultures, Nick and I are still together and strong as ever. All of our mutual cultures, like internet usages and gaming, provided enough stability and trust in the beginning of our relationship that we can negotiate the tricky linguistic blunders. Remember, the next time you need to borrow a rubber from an American, maybe just ask for an eraser instead.